My first visit to the now famous Glacier Bay of Alaska was made towards the end of October 1879, when young ice was beginning to form in the branch inlets occupied by the glaciers, and the mountains were mantled with fresh snow all the way down from the highest peaks and ridges of the Fairweather Range, nearly to the level of the sea. I had spent most of the season exploring the canyon of the Stickeen River and its glaciers, and a small portion of the interior region beyond the coast mountains on the divide of some of the southerly tributaries of the Yukon and Mackenzie rivers. When I got back to my headquarters at Fort Wrangell about the beginning of October, it seemed too late for new undertakings in this icy Northland. The days were growing short, and winter, with its heavy storms, was drawing nigh, when avalanches would be booming down the long white slopes of the peaks, and all the land would be buried. But, on the other hand, though this white wilderness was new to me, I was familiar with storms, and enjoyed them, knowing well that in light relations with them, they are ever kindly. The main inland channels, extending in every direction along the coast, remain open all winter, and their shores being well forested, it would be easy to keep warm in camp, while in a large canoe abundance of provisions could be carried. I determined, therefore, to go ahead as far north as possible, with or without companions, to see and learn what I could, especially with reference to future work. When I made known my plans to Mr. Young, the Wrangell missionary, he offered to go with me, and with his assistance I procured a good canoe, a crew of Indians, gathered a large stock of provisions, blankets, etc., and on October 14 set forth, eager to welcome whatever wildness might offer, so long as food and firewood should last. Our crew numbered 4. Toyatte, a grand old Stickeen nobleman who was elected captain, not only because he owned the canoe, but for his skill in woodcraft and seamanship. Kadachan, the son of a Chilkat chief, John, a Stickeen who acted as interpreter, and Sitka Charlie. Mr. Young is one of those fearless and adventurous evangelists who, in seeking to save others, save themselves, and it was the opportunities the trip might offer to meet the Indians of different tribes along our route that induced him to join me. After all our bundles were stowed aboard, and we were about to cast loose from the wharf, Kadachan's mother, a woman of great natural dignity and force of character, came down the steps alongside the canoe, oppressed with anxious fears for the safety of her son. Standing silent for a few moments, she held the missionary with her dark, bodeful eyes, and at length, with great solemnity of speech and gesture, accused him of using undue influence in gaining her son's consent to go on a dangerous voyage among tribes that were unfriendly to the Stickeens. Then, like ancient Sibyl, she foretold a long train of disasters from storm winds and ice, and in awful majesty of mother love, finished by saying, "If my son comes not back, on you will be his blood, and you shall pay. I say it." Mr. Young tried in vain to calm her fears, promising heaven's care as well as his own for her precious son, assuring her that he would faithfully share every danger that might assail him, and, if need be, willingly die in his defense. "We shall see whether or not you die," she said as she turned away. Toyatte also encountered domestic difficulties in getting away. When he stepped into the canoe, I noticed a cloud on his grand old face, as if his sad doom, now drawing near, was already beginning to overshadow him. When he took leave of his wife, she wept bitterly, saying that the Chilkat chiefs would surely kill him in case he should escape the winter storms.